Assalamu alaikum and good morning. It's great to be back. I was on vacation last week, so I didn't get a chance. So, of course, because I'm on vacation, I was not doing any Instagram live. So, as promised, I said I would talk about transition. So, I am going to break up transition into two parts. Today I'm going to focus on just when you should start planning transition for your child, and then next week I'll go into transition, more of agencies and other resources that are out there for after your child has graduated from school. So, hey Demetrius, good morning. So in the state of Pennsylvania, when your child will be turning the age of 14, it is time to do an ITP, an individualized transition plan. And this is just another section of your child's IEP. So let's say the child is 13 now, and then they'll be turning 14 within that IEP. So if they're going to be turning 14 within that IEP, then you have to do transition goals, and you have to do the transition plan. And also, once my students start to turn 14, this is when I start making them come to their IEP meetings. Of course, I'll ask the parent first, but and I explain to parents it's important that they start to come to their meetings so that way they understand what their IEP is about and what this transition plan is about and what it's for. Okay, so when your child turns 14, or in the course of that current IEP, they'll be turning 14. You do a transition, a transition plan. Okay, so first thing, basically the transition plan is basically what you and your child feel that they will be doing when they graduate from high school. So do you think they are college bound? Do you think they need a vocational school? Do you think they can do full-time employment? Do you think they need supported kind of employment? Do you think they need assisted living? Those are the types of things transition plans focus on. So when I know one of my students is get ready to be 14, I do a transition plan. I do a transition plan with the student, and then I send, not a transition plan, I do a transition survey with the student, a student one, and then I send a parent transition survey home. So basically, I want to get feedback from the student regarding what do they think that they will be doing, that they will be able to do when they graduate high school, and then also what the parent feels that their child will be capable of doing when they graduate from high school. Now, I know you may be thinking 14, they may not know yet what it is they want to do. So I do explain to students, this will probably change because what you want to do now may not be what you want to do once you get to like maybe 10th grade. It may be something different. Okay, so basically I just go through a survey with the student, and the survey will ask questions like, what are your hobbies, what subjects are you good at, what subjects do you have difficulty with, how are you with organization, do you volunteer in your community, do you get it, what do you want to do after high school, and it's like checklists. It's like some checklist things they can check off if they want to get a job, if they want to go to college, if they want to stay on campus, if they think they'll be staying home. Questions like how do you travel throughout the community? Do you know how to make change? Do you know who to contact in case of emergency? Are you involved in any agencies? Are you involved with any agencies and things like that? So there's various questions. Now, depending on my student, sometimes I'll read the questions to them and they'll tell me the answer, and I'll just write it on the survey for them. Or sometimes the students, I have independent students, they want to do it on their own, so I just explain to them, if you get a particular question, just ask me and I'll explain it to you. Okay, so basically after the student completes the survey, I just summarize their feedback, and I put that in the IEP. I put the date that the student completed the survey, and I put that in the IEP. And then when I get the feedback from the parent, I do the same thing. And I always call the parents ahead of time to let them know that I'm sending at home, and that it's important that they fill it out the best of their ability and send it back to me. So then I do a summary of their response, and I put that in the IEP as well. And then The transition section of the IEP deals with employment, it deals with academic skills, and it deals with assisted living. If not assisted living, social life skills, excuse me. So it's life skills, employment, and academic skills. So the life skills is more so, do I think this child will be able to live on their own? Do they need assisted living? Do they need all of that? So that's what goes in that section. Now, when you do the transition plan, you have to put currently what classes are they taking, what classes do you think they'll be taking next year. Also, the transition plan, it pertains to, you will put activities and services in that section based off of the survey. So like, let's say for instance, I have a student who I know is college bound and who feels they can do college, their parents feel they can do college, the whole team, we feel that they can, they're a college bound student. One of their activities may be to attend a college fair. Because they are interested in going to college, one of their activities in their transition plan for that year will be to attend maybe 2 college fairs or 1 college fair. Let's say, for instance, they are interested in vocational schooling. One of their activities could be to attend a job fair for vocational school, or to go to orientation for a vocational school. So in the transition section of the IEP, you have services and you have, it is services and activities. Okay, so now I have, I teach 7th grade, so I have some students who are getting ready to be 14. So some of their services and activities are very different because they're not quite there yet, of what they should be doing once they get out of high school, because they're only in 7th grade. So some of their, most of their activities and services pertain to what they're currently doing and what they'll be doing next year. So like, I'm the emotional support teacher here at my school, so I have students that have, behavioral needs, organizational needs, academic needs. So for instance, let's say one of the services will be group therapy, okay? Because they may have group therapy. And an activity that I will do is a weekly self-advocacy rubric that the students will do based on, and it's self-reflective. So based off the skills they learn in group therapy, how are they applying it independently throughout the week? So at the end of every week, I would do a rubric with them. I call it the self-advocacy rubric, and they will score themselves on how well did they do with checking their grades, how well did they do with asking for help, how well did they do with completing their assignments, following directions, completing homework. Now, these services may fall under employment section of the transition plan, because majority of the time the students that I have, some just want to work, some want to go to school and work. So the reason, the example I just gave of the group therapy being a service and the self-advocacy rubric being an activity, that will go under employment, because those are skills that will help them in an employment environment. They need to be self-reflective of themselves. They need to know how to talk with other people, get along with other people, and that's where the group therapy comes into place. And then the self-advocacy rubric helps them be reflective of themselves and their behavior, which they will have to do in an employment environment, in an employment. So that's why we'll put that under their under the employment section of the transition plan. So like perhaps for another example, under the academic section of the transition plan, some services, some activities would be like you may do probes with the students, something pertaining to academics. You may do, let's say I do weekly probes. So that could be an activity, and one of the services could be the progress monitoring for the reading comprehension. So so they're getting their reading comprehension, they're getting the attention for their reading comprehension, and we're also doing probes that goes along with the all that pertains to academics. So that's why it will fall under the academic section of their transition plan. Okay, so basically, again, you have the three sections. You have academics, you have employment, and you have independent living skills. They may call it life skills or independent living. So those are basically the three sections. And each year, again, when a child turns 14, in your meetings, they should be discussing the transition section. Now, I always explain to parents, we may not go into that much depth right now because your child is only in 7th grade, because I teach 7th grade. However, once they get to 9th grade or 10th grade, you may have more parts, you may have more activities, you may have more services, because you're doing more things pertaining to what they want to do. And they're also closer to getting ready to be out of school, so they have a better idea of what it is they want to do. Okay? So that is the first part of transition that I wanted to share with you all. If you have any questions regarding anything I discussed, feel free to send me a DM on my Instagram at Because of Her. Feel free to email me at Jamila@becauseofher.info, and my name is spelled J-A-M as in Mary, I-L-A-H. You can also follow me on my Facebook page, Because of Her. You can send me messages through there again. And I just want to recap. In Pennsylvania, once the child turns 14, you start to do transition goals for the students, and they'll be academic, employment, life skills / independent living skills, and you should start inviting the student to their meeting, because eventually they need to run their meeting, because it is about them. Their IEP, yes, they'll still have the other parts of their IEP, but the transition plan is more so what they want to do after they graduate from high school, if they still have an IEP in high school. And that's basically what the transition plan is for, to basically get you thinking about what your child wants to do and what you think your child will be capable of doing. And also, by getting that information, getting the services from the schools to help you, getting the support from the school to help you get connected with other agencies and other programs that can help support your child in what they want to do after high school. I hope this was very helpful. And again, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact me. Have a great day. Assalamu alaikum.